for the first time in my life, like I was human. Like I couldn't just like pick up and compete and do something. Like I had to warm up a little bit more. I had to like make sure my body was right, and I was not the same person. Like, and it's something so hard to identify when you're in it, just because you're like, no, I'm pissed that you just asked me if I wanted dinner. Like that makes me mad. Like there's no reason.
Mom and dad don't know.
Exactly.
And your doctors don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see why we have concussion pros?
Yeah.
And then you have another event.
Yeah, almost a year to the date, actually.
Oh my, 1 year?
Yeah.
Connor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey guys, welcome back to the Two Thumbs Up podcast. Dr. Todd here. Got my good buddy here, Connor Stirling. Connor's brother is one of our DPTs here. He's been on the show a few times. Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here again.
Glad to be here.
We are sponsored by the Concussion Pros. We are the Concussion Pros. And we do other, as you guys all know, we do other orthopedic type injuries here as well. But Connor, thanks for coming on here today.
Yeah, no, great to be here. Appreciate
this
having
is kind
me.
of random and kind of, I tell people when we first get this rolling that this is super organic. I have no preconceived questions or whatever. That's sort of the fun of it for me. And I always love how a conversation flows.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? I know your family's all big athletes, big baseball players and different things.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. So Connor, born in Northern California, grew up mainly in Arizona, grew up a baseball family, baseball kid, but really just anything that had a ball I was playing, and honestly anything that was going to help me waste some energy as a kid. My mom, my dad were having me play just about anything and everything.
So I know you're from Cave Creek. I love that little town, by the way.
Great town, yeah. If you ever find yourself in Cave Creek, you're not going to be disappointed.
Do yourselves a favor. Go visit Cave Creek, Arizona. There's a place called the Buffalo Chip.
Buffalo Chip, yes. Experience like none other.
None other. One of the things I loved, I've been there quite a few times.
Yeah.
It seems like every time we go to Arizona, we end up at the Buffalo Chip. But they have
as you should.
They have this greatest, they have bull riding.
Yeah.
At night.
Uh-huh.
And it's almost like, and I don't know why I'm talking about this, I just remember the Buffalo Chip, but you literally, they'll have professionals go, but then if you're like a crazy, I've never done it, but you can literally sign up.
Oh, yeah.
And ride a bull.
Yeah, every Christmas, Thanksgiving, all my high school buddies always get up and they go Buffalo Chip is that's the one mainstay with a lot of my high school friends, and there's always someone that we convince to go. So it's
what a fun place. Good food, good barbecue. They even have a little church in there.
They have that. They have it all.
They have it all.
You don't need to stay there all week.
Some of my friends they got married at the Buffalo Chip.
Oh, really?
Little church there.
That's hilarious.
They actually have Sunday church.
Oh, really?
At the Buffalo Chip.
Dang. All right. You really got everything there.
I don't know. Good place. It's sounds like Disneyland kind of. But baseball. I know your brother played baseball. Mm-hmm. Dr. Mike. What was it about baseball? Because I'm a huge baseball fan myself. I love it. I played baseball in high school. What is it about baseball that kind of was interesting to you?
Yeah, I mean, Dad, his whole side of the family were baseball families. Like, grew up hardcore Dodger fans, and that was the religion right there.
Yeah.
And so just grew up a baseball fan. Grew up with a pretty good love for just the strategy and thought process of the game. I feel like that's where a lot of people lose it when you start talking about baseball. But that's kind of where I loved it. Is just the thought of just everyone's moving one way or another way. What you can do, can't do, and just every pitch, every at bat. There's a thought process to it all.
Any chance you ended up with your brother down there for the ring ceremony a couple weeks ago?
I was there.
Did you go?
Yeah, it was amazing.
I was so excited that he got to go to that because I'm a huge Dodgers fan too.
Oh, awesome.
Back when I grew up, you were either a Yankees fan or a Dodgers fan. And my so also you were either a Dallas Cowboys fan or a Pittsburgh Steelers fan in the great 70s.
Yeah.
And my grandfather couldn't stand the Steelers, and he couldn't stand the Yankees. And so their owner used to be a guy named George Steinbrenner.
Mm.
Oh, my granddad, man, he did not like George Steinbrenner. And Howard Cosell was one of the announcers, and he was a huge Yankees fan. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather was like, I don't like that guy. So we gravitated toward the Dodgers and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I've been a Cowboys fan. Forgive me, friends. I've been a Cowboys fan and a Dodgers fan my entire life, so I love, Connor, that you're a Dodgers fan.
Yeah,
But
bleed Dodger blue.
yeah. What positions you played in high school?
So
growing up,
I caught mostly. I played a little bit of first base, a little bit of outfield. Was just kind of a big body and was not afraid to take a ball off the chest or off the arm. So, but yeah, catching was like my favorite just because it was kind of like the game general. You're able to call pitches, like where they were going, and like also just like plays of just like, all right, if there's someone on base, like where are we going with this? How can we possibly pick somebody off?
It's interesting. Baseball fans know this, but some people that don't know baseball don't realize that the catcher is sort of like the quarterback.
Yeah.
Of a football team.
Yeah.
Literally calling pitches, sees the entire outfield and infield. You have a perspective that nobody else has. If you think about all the other players, they're looking towards home plate.
Yeah.
And you're looking out towards all of them. And so it's kind of a unique position. And how's the knees held up?
Not too bad. Honestly, I feel like I kind of stopped right before like I really would have had a lot of knee problems. But yeah, the knees held up all right during my playing time. Obviously, like getting into other sports like helped that, but there's been a litany of other injuries that have been a little bit more taxing than the knees. But yeah, they held up.
So baseball, and then I know you were talking earlier that you grew up in a state that's super hot, and so you're in the pool a lot.
Yeah,
so you ended up being on swim teams and doing that. And I know we'll talk about this, but you were a BYU swimmer. But
yes,
when you first got into swimming, was it more out of a love of it, or is it like I'm good at this?
Yeah, it was.
Baseball sounds like a love.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about swimming?
Yeah, baseball was a love, and to this day is still like a love. Like if you told me I had a 1 in a million chance to make a practice squad on some team somewhere, like some AA team in Roanoke, like I would hop on that in a heartbeat. That would be the dream.
I tell people I still got 4 years eligibility somewhere. So
when I graduated, I ran into it was the golf coach as well and the baseball coach. But I told them both, I was like, hey, I still got eligibility in those sports. So if you ever need a guy, but yeah, swimming like was definitely not a love. It was not a love for a long time, and it was more like kind of out of necessity. Like if you don't have a pool, then the neighbors on both sides of you have pools, and so everyone learns how to swim. And then we were just kind of doing it to like waste energy, just to kind of do something. And honestly,
stay out of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep me off the streets. Yeah. But there was a number of years that I just like swimming was grueling. It's a very grueling sport. Baseball was a lot more fun because I could be with people, talk to people. Like I was out in the open. Like swimming, you're staring down at a black line at the bottom of the pool, and like you can't breathe. Every muscle in your body hurts. And so there's a number of years that I really it was a grind, and like it was. Really, my parents, my father specifically, that kind of told me I dedicated, I committed to a season or a team, and that I needed to kind of see it out. And it wasn't until like I kind of got into high school and focused on it a little bit more that I found a love for it a little bit.
It's interesting because I love to swim. I swim 2 or 3 times a week, and I know exactly. And I'm not, dude. You could lap me every 10 feet, but the point is, there's something about swimming, unlike any other exercise or event, where there's such an oxygen debt where you're and actually maybe not for you, but when I know I have to turn to breathe, for example, I slow down. So for I would imagine that is kind of it for with your technique and stuff, that you have to be really good at that. And you want to breathe as least as possible. Yeah, correct.
Exactly.
So what is it then? Like, you create that VO2 max and that all of that stuff inside your body. What was it that you began to love about it?
Yeah, and honestly, like exactly what you just said, like everything about swimming, like kind of like screams like something you shouldn't be doing. Like
I'm drowning.
Yeah, get out. I used to always joke like. When people, I said I was in college athletics, they're like, oh, what sport did you play? Like, you don't play swimming, you just kind of like do swimming.
That's true.
And so I always would say like, swimming is a survival skill. And I just I happen to survive a little bit faster than the next guy. And that's really all there is to it. But yeah, and like my races are like they were sprints, so we didn't breathe at all. And
what was what events was it?
My best events were the 50 freestyle and 100 freestyle. Yeah, and the 50 freestyle, as soon as you get to college, like if you're taking a breath,
you don't breathe.
No, and it's all hundreds of a second, so like a breath is a lot. So you get really comfortable with being uncomfortable. And like, that's just kind of the new norm of just like, okay, like I'm not breathing and I'm not going to breathe and I'm exerting myself at 100% for the next 18 seconds or 20 seconds, whatever it is. And you just kind of have to get comfortable with knowing like, okay, that's going to be my reality right now. Hopefully there's like a relief. I could hit the wall and like catch my breath. I don't pass out or something.
Yeah. So you do a 50 meter freestyle. Did you ever do the 100?
Yes. Yeah.
And so you do the 100. Okay. And so is the only breath that you're planning on taking at the walls? How about on the way back for the other 50?
Yeah. So there's, and just to differentiate, in college, they swim yards.
Right.
And they call it short course. And so a 50 is there and back.
Right.
In the Olympics, it's meters. And so it's just one length. It's
one
just,
length is 50.
Is 50. So
okay.
But to answer your question, like it's like if you're swimming a 50, you're not breathing either way. If you breathe,
That's
you're.
What I was wondering.
Yeah. Like as soon as you get to like the collegiate level, like a breath.
You're 25 yards down, you're not breathing. 25 yards, you're kick turning your back.
Exactly. Yeah.
No air.
It's head down, and you're just churning
Holy
as fast as you can.
I can barely get 4 arms. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. I mean, even now, I feel like my lungs are not quite what they used to be. I have not super awful, but I have asthma, and so that just like was an added obstacle when I swam. But
swam for BYU.
Swam for BYU.
Good for you, man. And so, when was your last season with them?
Finished up in 2022. Mm-hmm. So I swam a year. Then I served a mission for my church, and then came back. Did 4 consecutive years. One of those years being COVID. So I got an additional year. So I was a super senior for the last year. Really, just kind of being the veteran on the team.
Yeah, I just really Mason Wake, my buddy, his family. He played football for BYU. He married a girl, Kylie.
Yeah, I know Kylie actually.
Yeah, they just had a baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Baby. She was on the swim team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kylie. So they had a baby like last week. So Mason's been on the show. So awesome. His dad and his stepmom are really good friends of ours. But I just realized that Kylie swam for BYU.
Yeah.
So so injuries that you've kind of like. I know with swimming, it's is it shoulders? What kind of things did you walk through?
Yeah, honestly, I kind of went through, in terms of swimming injuries, I kind of went through unscathed. There's, a number of people that retire early just because of like shoulder issues. That's really kind of like the big killer, just because it's like there's so much like tendonitis of just like repeated use over and over, especially if you're swimming distance, when you're swimming 4, 5, 6 miles a day, every day.
1,500 meters, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so much. So in terms of that, like I came out pretty unscathed. I had some unfortunate accidents, a couple car accidents early on in my career, and then a couple other like dry land, like weightlifting accidents.
Like spinal?
What was that?
Spinal injuries with weightlifting, or was it?
No, it was broke my hand and wrist. Yeah, I was doing box jumps and fell back.
Yeah,
broke my hand and wrist.
So you've had, actually, this is something we hadn't discussed. So you were in some car accidents. Maybe Dr. Mike may have told me, your brother may have told me this, but so what was your car accidents?
Yeah.
Talk if you're open. What was your experience with those?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and looking back on it now, like it's a little bit easier to kind of piece it together. But yeah, so my senior year, my junior year of high school is when I really started to get good at swimming. And like I focused on it my freshman year. My coach kind of said like, hey, give me 2 years and you'll get any offer you want. My junior year, had a great year. I actually qualified for the 2016 Olympic trials, and was pretty much like the prophecy came true. Like I was able to get offers from any school I wanted. I was looking at a number of schools that academically I had no business getting into.
Yeah,
but
so like Stanford, they have a great. Did they still have a good swimming program?
They do have a good program.
Like it's a good program. I'm trying to think of like off the top of my head, who would I know? I don't know, some of the Ivy guys, Ivy League schools.
Yeah,
don't they have good
Harvard's pretty good.
Yeah.
They kind of go back and forth, but they've had a good team the last couple of years, and they're still good. But coming out of school, like NC State was really good.
So let's back up here a second.
Yeah.
So you qualify your junior year.
Yeah.
Future's looking awesome.
Yeah.
You got full ride offers everywhere to swim. Be the next. I want to say Mark Spitz, but what
I'll take Mark Spitz.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps.
Mike Phelps, yeah. No, honestly, you have that body style. Like, you have that, you look like a swimmer.
Yeah.
Like you got that. So, good for you. Good for your family genetics.
I know, yeah.
But, you got a car accident.
Yes.
So, and that was your senior year?
Yeah. So senior year. It was actually like a long story, but started getting good at swimming and kind of went through like a year-long recruiting process. Visited a number of different schools all over the country, and just as I was about to commit, I got in a car accident. Was hanging out with some friends, was driving home in my mom's Suburban, and just got hit by a drunk driver. T-boned me and rolled over 4 times.
Wow. So, what did you experience? Or some of the?
It was a wild experience.
Thank goodness for the Suburban.
Yes.
Thank God for the Suburban.
Yes. The Suburban saved me, and he was driving a big F-350 that he had stolen from his boss. So it's number of DUIs on his record previously. So it was a whole scene there, but it was an interesting order of events, and like those that have been in car accidents, like obviously know just like how loud that like crunch is of metal.
Can you still hear it?
Oh yeah, I can close my eyes and I can see it. But anyways, we were going opposite directions, and he kind of like just turned in and T-boned me. I kind of tried to make an evasive maneuver. I was going like 50 miles an hour or something, and T-boned me. And I remember just kind of like saying like, "Oh no!" But like in the back of my mind thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna get out of this, and this is gonna be just a really close call." But then like kind of bracing for impact and closing my eyes as we got hit, and then waking up with the car on its side. And actually there's a car full of buddies that were behind me, and so they were screaming in, like wondering if I was even alive, just like, "Connor,
and
are
you were
there?"
by yourself in the Suburban?
I was by myself, yeah. I was supposed to have a handful of buddies with me, but for one reason or the other, they didn't end up coming with me. So it was just me. But yeah, flipped over 4 times, landed on the side, and I'm just kind of hanging there with the seatbelt, horn blaring, glass everywhere, and someone kind of yelling my name. And that's when I kind of like come to and realize like, okay, I definitely wasn't awake for the last couple of seconds. And I kind of just like meerkat poke myself out of like the broken window and like look around, and my friends are like, "Dude, that was insane. Like, are you okay? Like, is anything broken?" I was like, "I think I feel fine." And then like the adrenaline starts to kick in.
Yeah.
And I swear, like, I think if you threw me in a pool in that moment, that would have been the fastest time I ever would have swam my whole life, just because I had so much adrenaline.
Like, yeah.
Felt
survival, right? Like
yeah.
I'm alive, but
yeah.
Right.
So I pulled myself out. They pulled me off to the side. And again, up until that point, like I had so much success swimming and was going to anywhere I wanted. I was like the definition of just like a very cocky teenager. Like, I'm invincible. I could go do a swim practice and then go play basketball for 3 hours and then do another swim practice and then go do something else and like not be tired, be fine. So I kind of sat there on the side of like the curb as like the paramedics were checking me out. The police were arresting the guy. And I kind of said like, I'm good. I don't need it. Like, they're like, "We really should take you to the hospital." I was like, "I'm fine. I feel amazing. Never felt better in my life."
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's a great point, because we see these people here, obviously, that have been in accidents. And the truth is, yeah, if you survived it, do you have this physiological response like, "Oh, okay, I'm good."
Yeah.
But then what happens?
Went home, didn't really sleep that night, woke up the next morning, the worst headache of my life, and just like so sore. My back like had hurt in a way that I'd never felt that kind of like limitation. And went to the hospital the next day to get checked out.
Yeah. And so what were some, obviously you have, and we tell people this too, when you get in that type of accident injury, it's kind of a full body injury.
Oh yeah.
It's even hard to identify. Like if you break your wrist, like, yeah, I broke my wrist, or, I tweaked my knee.
Mm.
But when these types of things are such full body trauma, it's almost difficult to differentiate. So
yeah.
Well, everything hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what was some of the things that were sort of, did you go through PT?
Yeah, went through PT.
Or what parts of your body?
It was mostly neck and back. I just had like a lot of like, no like structural issues, but a lot of just like muscular, like
ligamentous, muscular.
Exactly. Yeah. And then obviously just like the concussions. I think that was probably the worst part. Was not that I was in denial, but again, I was invincible. I was fine. Like, I tried to go to practice like the following Monday and like try to get back in like to my normal routine. And just like, again, hadn't like been like, the hospital said like I was probably concussed, but at that point it was like hours removed. And like,
what was your experience? Because this is one of the things with concussion pros. that we're really trying to fill that gap with, where you have an incident like yours, whether it's a sporting injury or a motor vehicle accident, where you do end up in an emergency room, and there's this lag of not that they don't know the information. There's this misconception. I don't know if that's right. There's a mismanagement of these types of injuries. It's like, we'll just watch this or go home and rest, and we'll see how you do. But that misses it. Like if someone tore up their knee, we'll get an MRI. We'll see what's wrong.
Yeah.
With the brain, it's this other thing, right? What was some of your major? Obviously, headache with your concussion. What other some of the symptoms did you have?
Yeah. Well, and talking about that specifically of just like the mismanagement, I think was the word you used.
Yeah, maybe that's the word.
I was
not out of being mean.
No.
But out of like not kind of knowing.
Yeah.
So the mismanagement.
Well, and I think that one of the people that's mostly at fault was me. Mostly just because I didn't know any better, and we could talk about it in a little bit. But my second accident, I fell victim to that even more so, and just being like, no, I'm fine. I'll pass whatever concussion protocol and get right back into it, even though like I shouldn't have been anywhere near competing or exercising or anything like that. But your initial question of just like, I don't know what was missed, I guess.
Yeah,
or
mismanaged.
I think it was just like the awareness of like, and I'd gone through like concussion trainings or whatever through school. Like I knew what concussions were, but I don't think I understood exactly how that was gonna affect me. And I don't think I realized till like months later. I probably went through 2 or 3 months of just like, I was totally not myself. Like I feel like I'm a pretty happy guy normally, but I was just like constantly angry. Like just like had arguments that I'd never had before with friends and family. I would fall asleep constantly, like in class, or I would get to practice and I'd be kind of like sitting there, and then I would just like not pass out, but I would just like lay down for a second and I would be asleep. And my coach like knew I was not well, so he'd kind of let me be for a little bit. But just like my energy was weird. My head, I think just like an overall fog was the best way to describe it. And I just like wasn't myself in any way, shape, or form.
So yeah, you just described so many of the people we see. And they end up here months later, and no one has. And granted, you had this significant event, but there's a lot of these type of symptoms that show up for people that's uncorrelated, especially when it comes to like high school football. You're describing these symptoms there's an emotional component.
Yeah.
There's a mental component. There's a physiological component. It's all this big, Pandora's box of stuff. I've said this before, but I am convinced this is one of the reasons, and maybe we could do something like I'm convinced that there's people in their early 20s that played high school football, for example, that end up in a depression in their early 20s, uncorrelated to high school football head trauma, that ended up in a suicidal situation because of the depression that's uncorrelated with head trauma. Yeah. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And from where I was, like looking back on it now, it's easy to see, but like I was not the same person. Like, and it's something so hard to identify when you're in it, just because you're like, no, I'm pissed that you just asked me if I wanted dinner. Like that makes me mad. Like there's no reason.
Mom and dad don't know.
Exactly.
And your doctors don't know. Do you see why we have concussion pros?
Yeah.
I'm convinced that I had high school head trauma from football and ended up in significant depression even through my 30s as it related to head trauma. So I guess what I'm saying is I can totally see how this could be a thing.
Yeah.
So you go through this thing, changes your whole future essentially, right? How did it affect your swimming career?
It was tough for the first time in my life. Like I was human. Like I couldn't just like pick up and compete and do something. Like I had to warm up a little bit more. I had to like make sure my body was right. And, it took me, like I said, like months. I probably went through 2 or 3 months, just like concussion wise, where I was not right. And then after that, like it took me a little bit longer to physically kind of get back into shape. Yeah. But my biggest concern was like at that point, like I had committed to come to school, and like I had quite a bit of like talk around my name in the swimming world, coming up as a freshman, and a lot of expectations. And so my only goal was to get back to where I was and like compete my freshman year. So it took me a long time. Luckily, I kind of had that whole summer to like kind of recoup a little bit. By the time I got up to school, I was in a little bit better place to like start training again.
So after the accident, you did PT rehab for your neck and back.
Yes.
Did you do PT rehab like vestibular or ocular motor for your concussion?
I didn't. I went through a handful of like tests for it. I think my high school had required it, and so I went through a handful of like testing for it that I like. I don't know, like those online tests and stuff that I would just fall asleep in and then say I finished it.
Yeah.
But yeah, beyond that, not nothing.
This is such an interesting conversation to me because this is exactly why we've created Concussion Pros, because there's so much of what you're describing. And then you go along in your life and your athletic career has been disrupted, and you know, I'm sure the Olympic team thing kind of got put on the back burner.
Yeah.
And then you have another event.
Yeah, almost a year to the date, actually.
Oh my, 1 year?
Yeah.
Connor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I 2 years out, like from that point on, I almost didn't get in the car for like 2 years. I didn't trust anybody. I'm still pretty timid when I drive. Very defensive driver these days. Knock on wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I pretty much trained my whole freshman year. Kind of got back to where I was. Started making a little bit of a name for myself. Like was as a freshman competing on like the relays for BYU, like being a big contributing factor. And then the night before our like kind of big end of the year meet, we were supposed to fly down to LA. I was with a buddy and was just driving through an intersection, not too far from here actually, and some lady just blew a red light. She was texting, T-boned us, and we rolled over a couple times, and kind of had to like did the whole process over again. And to your point earlier of like the mismanagement, I think that was the from the car crash to like my concussion exams after to me competing the next day, like that was severely mismanaged and mostly on my part. But
yeah. Because as a person, you want to compete. You're an athlete. You want to be there. But there's this other, you know, this whole mechanism of brain inflammation. And there's really MRI's gotten a lot better. But historically, they want to image your brain, for example, and nothing's in. Not that nothing's in there, but they don't see any pathological problem. There's no bleed or anything. It's a inflammatory problem, right? And it takes, you know, 1 year later, you're in this same. Did a lot of your symptoms come back?
Oh yeah, a lot, headaches, tiredness. That whole semester, honestly, I don't remember. I took several classes that I supposedly did all right in, but like don't remember taking those classes.
And that was what time frame? Months?
Yeah, so that I got the accident was January, and then finished the semester in April, so a couple months. Physically, just
literally walking around in a fog.
Yes, and that one was much more like it was a fog, but it was much more like there was a barrier, there was a wall. Like I literally couldn't push past it. And I felt like when my first accident when I was younger, like I know it was only a year different, but I could kind of push through and still like train or compete a little bit. But this one was just like a complete dead stop.
Yeah.
And I remember like I got in the accident, cleared concussion protocols that night, traveled to LA the next morning, and then the day after
So
competed.
what did you just do with your fingers? Cleared concussion
protocols.
So that's another big misconception, right? Because I hear this with athletes a lot, especially in football. Well, they cleared. I cleared the concussion protocol, right? What's your experience with that?
I want to make sure all the blame is on myself.
No, I love accountability. I love it. However, there's people that we trust that we put in our lives to make these determinations.
Well, and to your point, like I think those decisions should be completely removed. Obviously, like a concussion pro who's seen a million of these cases, like should be like, yeah, just knowing the facts. I don't care how you feel or what you tell me. Like you shouldn't be doing this. But yeah, went through some concussion testing. The doctor said, like, if I were to hold up 3 fingers, how many fingers am I holding up? And I said 3, and he's like, sweet. And then your vision's good. You're good for this. And to be fair, like, I don't think I was going to let anything keep me from competing. Like, I was going to answer the question however they needed me to answer it, just because there's a lot of pressure. Me as like a freshman, I wanted to compete.
Teammates, you got people.
Yeah. And we were vying for like a spot like for nationals, like that very, very, very prestigious, a spot that our team hadn't been in before. So yeah, I definitely was making decisions. I was at the wheel when I should have been in the back seat with someone telling me what we were doing.
Yeah. So so talk to me about this wall, because you're describing something that we see. There's a primary concussive event. Oftentimes, especially in athletes, not related to car accident per se, mostly, but a secondary, tertiary, quaternary event. So there's all these events, right? So you were in two significant events within a year. And on the second one, you experienced something you described as a wall that you couldn't, that it was impenetrable.
Yeah.
What did you do? This stuff is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
What did it take for you to get where you're at today?
I think the biggest thing was just like time, like rest. Like I think, so I got in the accident in January.
Of what year?
Of 2016.
The second one.
The second one. Yeah. So 2015, then 2016 was the second one. And then that summer was the 2016 Olympic trials. So the goal was like, okay, I just need to heal up and get ready for trials, because like this is what every guy's dream is in swimming. So I didn't really rest a ton, kind of got back into it, trained a little bit, didn't compete super well at the 2016 trials. And that was like not devastating, but that hurt quite a bit just because like you
weren't optimized.
Yes. Yeah. And again, just like that wall, like it seriously felt like, and those that are athletes kind of understand, like you could kind of like push yourself to your limit and then like you could go a little bit extra, like you always have a little bit like mind
Something
over matter.
In the tank.
Yeah. And I felt like no matter what my mental state was, like I just like I would hit that wall, and like there was nothing I could do physically, mentally, emotionally to like push myself any further. And I honestly think one of the biggest things that was helpful for me was just like some time away, like just like not trying to push my body anymore, not trying to do school, not trying to swim and compete and do 2-a-days. And I think that helped a ton in just like my emotional recovery as well.
Did the 2 years away on a mission assist with that, you think?
Yeah, I think especially that.
So having that time, do you feel like there's anything that you still deal with related to these concussions?
I think I still have some like neck and back issues, like just like from the accidents themselves, the trauma. Head wise, like I like concussion, like I think every once in a while when if I push myself a little too far, I still see like some like glimmers of that. Obviously, like just not pushing myself that much these days like helps quite a bit.
Right.
But yeah, I really try and limit myself and be a little bit more cautious of where I'm at.
Well, because of your experience and sort of, this life experience that was handed to you, right? What would you say to people that have had these types of events, that may be having some of the symptoms you're describing, or have had a series of concussions? What are some of the things you would recommend or advise to them?
I think when it comes to like concussions, especially like whatever you think or you think about your body that like try and disregard that as much as possible. Like trust whoever like the actual professional is. And at the end of the day, like you don't need to like push your limits. Like I think taking time to rest, taking time to do the PT, taking time to actually recover is like going to help you so much more long term than like just trying to be like, oh no, I'm fine. Like I could drive, I could work out, I can compete. I think that stuff just like you put yourself in so much more like harm, so much more pain, and it's just not necessary.
So how about as a parent? I know you're not a parent. You're going to be a parent one day. Like what would you tell? Because I'm sure your parents, who I've met, who are wonderful people, by the way.
Thank you.
What would you tell parents? Because when your kid is suffering, right? Especially when concussion's a little weird because you can't put your finger on it, right? Like if they have a broken arm, or they have the flu, or they got something else going on, it's like I can identify that. Well, what would you tell parents? And I'm sure your parents handle it wonderfully, but it's like for a parent, when you see your kid going through something, it's like, I don't know what's going on with this person.
Yeah.
Well, to me as a parent, I'm like I feel this anxiety about being, your dad, putting myself in your dad's position, going, how do I assist my kid here? Right? You get my question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like the hardest thing is like to try and kind of grasp like that, like they're going through such an event. Like I remember having like, again, I never really fought too much with my parents, but like just like screaming arguments about like them asking if I needed help with something. And I was just like, looking back on it now, like that was crazy. Like that was a crazy thing. And like, I think as a parent, the patience is like, I mean, obviously patience as a parent is something that
because they're fearful of what's going on with their son.
Yeah. But I think the patience they had, and also just like the understanding that like they are the adult in the room and they kind of need to take some of those decisions out of our hands.
That's great, honestly. And to the concussed patient, it's sometimes difficult to communicate that because there's anger. This angry thing shows up with a lot of people. Yeah. And it's almost irrational. Well, it is almost. It is irrational anger.
Yeah.
But then mom and dad get fearful. Like this kid something's different here. And so to the concussed person, let mom and dad handle some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But mom and dad, seek information.
Right.
Be patient with this
Consult
person.
a professional.
Consult a professional and kind of do this little dance with this person. I mean, we've had people come in that they're with their spouse or whatever, and they're like, this is a completely different person.
Right. Yeah.
And navigating that. I actually think there's probably divorces that have happened with married people where someone's been injured and they have this new anger thing that pops up.
Yeah.
Right? It's a super interesting phenomenon. That's why I'm so actually, Connor, thank you. This has been it's almost as if I would love to have you as a spokesperson somehow.
Yeah.
Your brother, man, I'm getting goosebumps talking about your brother, Dr. Mike Stirling. Man, he's
the best.
He's
the best.
I tell him all the time, if he wants, we'll take Concussion Pros to the next level because truthfully, because of scenarios like you just described.
Yeah.
This is actually at the heart and soul of Concussion Pros. I've seen this huge void in this space for a long time between what's real and what's not real, and then empowering practitioners of all kinds with the information and the new research that's available, and then having the ability to take a person and do ocular motor reflex training, vestibular training, cognition, all these things that correlate to this to get the brain to heal and relax and get the inflammation down. And as soon as the inflammation starts coming down, I'm beginning to feel like Connor again.
Back to normal, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's that space and time, and sometimes these symptoms can last months and years.
Yeah.
And so that's why I asked you the question earlier, is there anything that you still feel? And but this is super enlightening.
Yeah.
Man, I would love to, do you kind of see what it's like? I love that you've had, I'm grateful you've had these experiences, honestly, because it's sharing your story, because there's a lot of people walking around like this, sharing the story and having clarity that this isn't a rub mud on it and get back out there and do it again thing. It's life altering.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is like probably the most crucial thing is just like it's an injury. Like if you cut yourself, broke a bone, like you're gonna wait till it heals before you start doing stuff and then get the range of motion back. Like, but it's so tough to gauge because you can't really see it and it's hidden and like you have no idea if it's swollen or if there's still like healing that needs to be done. But obviously like that's why like there's people like you guys.
Yeah. It's a biochemical event. And Connor, I love you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
This is
Thanks
super
for having me
cool.
on.
I think Mike, I didn't know it was all in that depth. That's why life, like kind of just going into these things blind, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a whole world here of possibilities. When someone can share their experience. So for that, I'm super grateful.
No, I appreciate you having me on.
As time rolls on, I may say, let's get Connor back.
Would love to. Yeah, there's more there for sure. So
there's a lot of fun and interesting ways to assist humanity with when it comes to these types of things. So
that's awesome.
Thank you for sharing. Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Appreciate everything that you guys are doing.
I know you took some time away from work.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Means a lot to me. I appreciate it. So,
absolutely.
Anyway, guys, we love you. Thanks for coming on the 2 Thumbs Up podcast. We got Concussion Pros again, self-sponsorship. Again, Connor, do you have Do you have a presence anywhere? Maybe you should write a book. Write a book.
Yeah, maybe I need to write a book. Yeah,
write a book.
I'm actually not on social media, so
you're smart.
Yeah, you'll. I'm hidden. But no, honestly, maybe there's a book in the future somewhere.
I love it. I'll write the prologue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, we love you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.